welcome to the part 2 of the Sprint 5 Growth Hacking vlog. In this episode, we are looking into how to create a YouTube channel. So Odi will give us a walkthrough on how to create a Google or YouTube ad. Very cool, Odi.
Hello. Yes, I will. I think based on our experience in the last couple of weeks, we thought that it actually would be nice to do like a step-by-step, very basic walk of, how to do your YouTube ad, and also for people that are interested or just thinking that maybe it's a little bit too complex. I think once you see it broken down into basic steps, you realize, okay, it's actually something manageable that anyone can actually try to do. Right. You don't need to be a coder or a genius in media to do it.
Yeah, let's get started then.
Yeah.
So what happens first?
So the first thing is that you have to go, this is something that actually, it was a surprise for me, but I've heard that for a lot of people, it's not that obvious, that in order to do a YouTube video ad campaign, you actually have to go to Google Ads.
Yeah.
So that was, apparently it's not that widespread knowledge, but this is where you start. You go to your Google Ads, and then in there you have to select the video campaigns, and that's the one that refers specifically to doing videos for like your ads on YouTube. Yeah. Then once you select that, you actually go to the overview of that, and then you hit on the plus of new campaign.
Yeah.
It's that simple at that stage.
Okay.
So after that, it takes you to this screen. Mm-hmm. Actually, in this one, there's like pretty much two parts that you have to be aware of, that you must kind of like think about before you want to do your ad. So what is the overall aim or goal of your ad? Yeah. So you want to do sales, you want to do leads, you want to do web traffic. These ones will give you also kind of like different options, and it will be shown kind of like for different type of people. So for example, in our case, we want to do leads. So we want people to go to our website and give us information. So this is kind of something that I'm choosing just for this specific video, but normally we've used web traffic. So we just want people to look at it, go to our website and find out more information. So that also, this website traffic option gives you it's pretty nice way of generating awareness for your website. So an awareness campaign.
Right. And then here below you can choose the type. So
exactly, but this is where you have to be kind of like a little bit careful, because if you use search, display, or shopping, then they don't really display the same way. They don't show on Google Ads, so you always have to choose video.
Video, this one.
Yeah. So that's one. Like I actually haven't used the discovery one, but these other modes is kind of like the ones that you commonly use for Google Ads.
So the video ad is the one when you go and look for a video in YouTube, it will show that in the beginning, the first 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So once you select those, then you come to this next screen, where of course on the top it says kind of like what's the type of campaign that you're doing, what's your goal, what type of conversions you want, your name. This is kind of like interesting because the bidding strategy, you can have like either cost per view, or you can be more, if you have more experience on how do you want to pay to get the people to see your ad, you can create your own strategy. But in my case, I think that the maximized conversion works pretty well, and then you also have the benefit of having Google's AI that would actually learn for 5 days about how are people engaging and seeing, or like the views that you get and the clicks that you get on your ad, and then it actually improves it and optimizes it on its own. So, for beginners, when you're, this is a pretty nice, strategy to keep.
Does it mean that this particular ad needs to run more than 5 days in order to reach its full potential, or will it then also learn when you create a new ad afterwards, or is it only like this AI for this particular ad?
This is for your campaign, so you have to understand that within your campaign you have specific ads, and then this kind of learns the knowledge goes for your campaign, because the campaign has one specific audience that you're targeting.
Yeah.
So this knowledge is also gonna go for your overall campaign. But if you want to optimize this specific ad, it's always good to actually let it run for 5 days, because then there's actually a sign that says there, learning for 2 more days, learning for 1 more day. If you pause it, then when you re-engage, it will say like, okay, we still have to learn for 1 more day.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, for in the budgets, this is something that also will affect the amount of views and impressions of your video. I think €5 is the minimum that you can start with, but €10 is a good amount that you can use per day, so that you can get an idea of your audience. I think that €10 is the minimum, so that you can actually get a real feel for what you're trying to do.
All right.
And then in the networks, you can of course choose something, but I always leave it especially when you're starting and you want to do more awareness, let it use all their networks. And in your locations, it usually starts with the place that you're located at, but you can also define what you're gonna be, what countries do you want to go on, or which cities and stuff like that. So actually, that's quite nice. It gives you flexibility.
Yeah. Then you have locations here in the end.
Yeah, that's the ones that I was just talking about. That you can choose countries or cities, and you can go as specific as you want, or depending on where you feel it's your most valuable possible customer.
Okay, cool. All right, then this one.
Yeah, of course. If for example, in our case, that we were targeting that we're working for this specific ad in Finland. Well, Finland has Swedish as an official language, so we needed to be able to show to browsers or people searching in YouTube that speak both languages and English. So
this is to the browser. It picks up the browser language here. Okay.
Yeah. Because the way that the language in which YouTube is set for the people that are doing the search or watching videos, that information is picked up from there. Right.
That's very info here. Okay.
Yeah, this part about context exclusions, this is a little bit more advanced. And again, it's more like you're defining again in a more detailed way, where do you want to show your ads? In our case, or in the beginning, if you're doing awareness, don't even bother about clicking on this. This is something that you can go back once you have more understanding of your audience, or use it a little bit like negative keywords. That if there's somewhere where you don't want to show, or there's certain labels that you don't want to, where that for example, in training, if there's stuff that people are looking about, like let's say eco challenge trainings, that's absolutely not relevant for me. So then I would be able to go there, but in the beginning,
you can also overdo it with exclusions. What happened to us, right?
Exactly. So this is something that you have to be careful about. If you define too much, you could also be closing, closing your door to go in.
Yeah, exactly. Then here, ad group. What is
actually,
that?
No, I wanted to talk a little bit about the top part, like the ad extensions. This one is also a pretty cool, addition. From the last time that we worked with now, you can actually, just like in Google Ads, you can put extensions, and these extensions could go directly, for example, to some specific description of the product, or maybe a campaign with an offer that you have running at the moment. And this also extends a little bit the area that you have for the ad. So this can help you to direct people in a more effective way to some page, or to give them options to find out more about you, and it's supposed to help the conversions. So that's just as a, let's say, even if you're doing awareness, this is something that I would definitely keep working on. Like, don't just let it go.
Yeah. All right. And anything else here?
Not much. This is no, wait, go back.
Okay.
For example, in this one, the type of ad group that you want, the skippable ads are actually quite nice, and this is the most common. I don't know why here it says responsive, because I usually use standard. These skippable in-stream ads means that you're also gonna get that that you get way more impressions of your ad. And it actually unless someone runs to see the full ad, then that counts as a view, and that's actually when they charge it to you.
Right.
So this will give you like way more reach.
Yeah. So that means you need to have in the first 5 seconds something which really hooks the user that they are looking at.
Yeah, but then it also means that if they skip your ad, you don't pay for that impression.
Yes.
So it actually that's quite useful because there's
it's good. You need to make good content that the user looking at it, and the ones who look at it, they might really be interested in it. So it's pretty good option actually.
Yeah, and you also have to consider that most people don't react to any ad like on the first one. You have to see it at least 3 times to kind of like to start to be aware of it. And so with this one, it usually runs a few times and then it's like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't have the time. Like they skip it. So you can actually have, like I said, people can see it more often. And then once kind of like it sinks in, they can actually spend time. And if they see the full ad, then that counts. That's kind of like a view.
Okay.
Yep. So now we can move to the next one. Again, this is kind of when we're talking about you're targeting your audience. In the previous video, we were talking about that if you do too much targeting, you actually reduce that kind of audience or the impression of the amount of times that your ad is shown to people. So I would say that the rule of thumb is to always choose 2. For example, like you can choose the demographics that, age and gender. And then, for example, in this case, it was audiences, which means that that's about the type of practices that that people are engaged, or you can say like HR or engineers or that type of audiences. If you choose audiences plus keywords plus topics plus placements, then you go into this ad kind of like dynamic in which your ad is going to be shown only to people that meet all those requirements, that it's in the right audience, that type the right word, the keyword, and that is into a specific topic, and that it's into specific and it's in a specific channel. So yeah, usually just choose 2. In our A/B test, we were using keywords, we were using audiences and placements. So we actually did 3 campaigns, only with demographic and audiences, only with demographics and keywords, and only with demographics and placements. And that worked quite well. Okay. After that, you go to the actual generate your ad, and then that you get to this, you land to this screen where you actually do the creative. So you have to say which ad that is actually in your YouTube channel, or like which video in your YouTube channel you're going to use for your ad. So prepare your video beforehand and upload it to your channel. Then you define, someone clicks on it, to which where are they going to go, which URL is it going to be pointing, how are you going to display your URL, because you might have a specific campaign URL, but you want it only to show us your original URL. For example, for us, Happit.com, it makes more sense than to say Happit.com/load ebook. Yeah. So it's nicer to keep it clean. And then we have the call to action. This one I actually like it, because unlike, for example, in other platforms, you can actually write your own call to action. So it could be learn more, download, check it out. So it gives you a little bit more freedom. Flexibility. Yeah. As for the headline, I think I liked it, but you also have to be quite concrete. So it's also due to the platform and the size of it, and the way that it's done. So you have to be very straight to the point. But otherwise, these are very, very straightforward situations. And then, I mean, it's just having the patience to run through it. And it's what you see is what you get. You don't really have to do anything else. Once you save that, then it's going to ask you if you want to publish it, and that's it. You're pretty much going live, and then it's going to take between 12 hours to 24 hours for Google to approve your ad, unless you are actually doing campaigns on presidential election week, and then it takes like 2 to 3
and
weeks.
it takes longer. Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, this is a step-by-step, quite easy way of getting started with doing YouTube ads.
All right. Hey, thanks for this walkthrough, Audie. This was really insightful.
You're welcome. And for the people that are watching us, just remember that we obviously did not touch on every single detail, and there are some things that we missed. But if you want to ask about, something more specific, always just drop us a comment.
Yes. Thanks. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.